The following video is not made for kids under 13. If you are not 13 years old, please exit out of the video now. And please, YouTube, do not sue me. Hey guys, Liamuki here, and I'm back with another part of What If Izuku Was a Villain. This is part 24, so with that said, let's get straight into this. After Izuku dealt with Muscular, he decided to rush over as soon as he can. 2. He saw the poison vortex that Mustard was creating from his gas and his quirk as well. To move over to somewhere else. He wanted to make sure to get on his side as soon as possible would be both Shoto, Tokoyami, and Shoji. He feels like he has more of a closer bond with them. Soon after, he would try to get Ochiko or possibly even others from Class 1A to join as well. Some of Class 1A wouldn't want to, and believes that they are the only people he feels like he can trust the most to join the League of Villains. So he tries to find on where Tokoyami and Shoji would be, since he knows that the two of them are partnered together. Soon after, he runs into Aizawa and tells him that, and asks on, "Wait, what's going on? Midoriya, what are you doing here?" Soon after, Izuku tries to make his entire hand go black make it look like a side effect of his quirk, and tells him and holds on to it just to pretend that he's actually in pain and everything, and tells him that, "I'm sorry, I ran into a villain, and it made me use everything I had to defeat him. My entire hand has gone black. I can barely feel it, Mr. Aizawa." As Aizawa hears this and tells him to head back to the camp. Soon after, Izuku tells him they're after Bakugo, if anything. And soon after, Izuku tells him that the League of Villains' plan is to capture Bakugo and kills half of us on a kill list. Soon after, Izuku, hearing this, Aizawa said that, "Alright, make sure you get back to camp and tell Mandalay this as soon as possible. You are all permitted to use your quirks in battle." Hearing this, Izuku wanted to make sure none of the students use their quirks to keep them from battling, and prefers keeping a bit of casualties on as well. However, if he didn't, many of his friends would probably get hurt as well, and especially the ones he wants to join. So he decides to go back to where Mandalay is, where Mandalay's fighting against Spinner and Tiger's fighting against Magnum. As he arrives as fast as he can, he decides to destroy Spinner's giant blade with a blackout sword, and internally says, "Sorry, Spinner, didn't really mean to do that. It really looked cool though. That sword really did look cool." Spinner, realizing on what Izuku did, and realized that he's still the spy of UA, he can't blow his cover just yet, even though he is the leader of the team. Soon after, he tells Mandalay what Aizawa has told him, that everyone is allowed to use their quirks in self-defense and protect and fight the villains. Soon after, Magnum realized this and decided, and also saw a black blast coming from the cliffs, thinking that it It was from Izuku. But she wanted to but thinking on what he did, she's a little worried. And not only that, she hasn't seen Muscular since she's been fighting, or even heard him at all. So she's thinking that possibly that Izuku might have killed Muscular, but decides not to say anything about it, and just lets Izuku go on his way. Soon after, Spinner tries wanting to chase. She wanted to chase after him to make it look like they were going. Soon after, Spinner stopped her and said, "No, Big Sis Mag. I know. Spinner, what are you doing? This isn't the time for that. This isn't the time for this. I know, but still, he was chosen by Stain. He is Stain's true ally. So, even if it's so, soon after Spinner saying this, Mandalay began wondering on what he meant by that, and starts thinking. As Izuku runs as fast as he can, he sees something black coming right after him, and then moves as fast as he can. There, he's grabbed by it. He's grabbed and wonders who it is, and tries to unleash a blackout around his body, but soon realizes that it's actually Shoji, one of the very people he's been looking for. As he wonders, "Wait, Shoji, what happened to you?" Soon after, he realized, "I guess that's the case. You wanted to find Bakugo. I don't know, I thought the two of you hated each other. But knowing you're a good guy, I doubt that's the case. I doubt you would let him go, so you would want to let him be taken so easily." As Izuku hears this, saying that he doesn't really care about Bakugo too much, but messing with the villains is more fun than anything. Soon after, Izuku begins wondering, wasn't Tokoyami supposed to be with you? What happened? Soon after, Shoji told him about what happened, that they ran into Moonfish, and they began to fight. And then Tokoyami's dark shadow began rampaging. Izuku remembered what Tokoyami said about his dark shadow, that during the night, it's more powerful and more harder to control. Realizing this, he wanted to make sure. Shoji told Izuku, "If you wanted to find Bakugo as soon as you can, I'll give you a chance to get out of here. Even with your immense power, I doubt you have enough strength to take on somebody like Dark Shadow in his true berserk form." Izuku hearing this, knowing this, that even though he wanted Tokoyami to join his team because he feels like he can trust him and he can understand his pain, especially if Tokoyami had a quirk like this all his life, he can see people ridiculing him and calling him a future villain because of it, and decided that he'll find Bakugo and Shoto while also helping Tokoyami in the process. He doesn't want to leave one of his friends behind at any cost. So they put their plan in action. And not only that, knowing that their attacker is most likely Moonfish, since the only person that would have been able to cut Shoji's duple arm hand with ease would have been Moonfish, or possibly even Toga. So he decided, or even Spinner. So he decided to run as soon as possible. Gave him the same plan as he did in canon, by using dupla arms, by making noises on other sides from different sides to draw a dark shadow to them. Soon after, the plan kept on working, while both Izuku and Shoji were drawing Tokoyami's dark shadow to both Bakugo and Shoto in the process, while also hurting Moonfish as well. Seeing this, Moonfish began to try to attacking Dark Shadow, but then was broken down while all of his teeth, all his blade teeth, began being crushed one by one, and then slammed to the tree as usual. Soon after, both Bakugo and Shoto began using their flames to calm down Tokoyami's Dark Shadow, as Shoji basically let Izuku down from his duple arms. And Izuku saying, "Thank you, Shoji. I really appreciate that, man." And as Izuku tells him, "Yeah, don't mention it." Soon after, Izuku went up to Tokoyami and asked him, "Tokoyami, you okay? I was really worried about you losing control like that." As Tokoyami tells him, "I'm sorry. My anger, my rage, everything I felt for so long, finally unleashed. I wanted to try to make sure I didn't hurt anyone. Just like people said, I guess I am deserving to be a villain." As Izuku tells him, "No one has the right to tell you that. You get to decide on what you want to do. Either be hero or villain. You can prove that you're a better person than anyone. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what path you've chosen. As long as you can show that you're a better person than those who ridiculed you, that's all that matters. I know you're greater than that, Tokoyami." As Izuku tells Tokoyami those words, he begins smiling and hearing those words. Even Shoji felt inspired by those words as well. Same goes with Shoto, as Bakugo feels a little bit irritated as well hearing those words, but also feels a bit inspired. However, Izuku gives them the rundown and tells them on what happened and most likely why the villains are after him, possibly due to their. But then he begins telling them also another lie. Begins telling them a lie that the League of Villains are also after him as well. Hearing this and wondering, why did you not tell Mandalay about this? Or better yet, why keep yourself out here like this at all? As he says that he will do anything to protect his friends, no matter what it took. Telling this lie would give him a good chance to stay by his side and allow him to talk to them truly in private, especially without Bakugo. Soon after they prepare, they begin. Both Shoto, Shoji, Tokoyami, and Izuku prepare making a defensive formation to protect Bakugo and Izuku. As Izuku prepares to bring out his phone, during this time while they were planning, Izuku used his phone to text Compress on where his location is. Soon after, Compress found them and decided to capture both Bakugo and allow both Bakugo and Tokoyami to be taken easily without even trying. Soon after, they arrived on where both Ochiko and Tsuyu are fighting against Toga. As Toga begins getting into Ochiko's head, just like in canon, saying on how much Toga wanted to be like Stain and be with Izuku forever, without even telling her that Izuku is a villain. And her mind games began getting in her head. Soon after, the boys arrived to where the girls are, and soon Toga, seeing Izuku, was about to say hi, but realized that they're still on a mission and that she can't blow his cover no matter how much she wants to be by his side. And she just runs off to meet at the rendezvous area. Soon after, they give him the rundown and everyone realizes that both Bakugo and even Tokoyami are missing, as Compress gloats and tells them that they messed up, and now that both Bakugo and Tokoyami will now be members of the League of Villains. Izuku tries to give them a whole speech that they're not their property, and Compress says the same thing. So they move out. So Compress moves as fast as he can to the rendezvous area, as that's exactly what both Izuku wants as well, for them to chase twice Mr. Compress as fast as they can. Soon after, using the same strategy that they did before, using Ochiko to make them float, and Tsuyu throwing them as fast as hard as she can to Compress. And then the battle begins with the League of Villains, and Izuku can finally fulfill his true mission. And that's it. Thank you guys for watching. This one took a lot longer than usual because I want to get this done as fast as I can, so sorry about that. With that said, this may take a little bit longer to edit, so about that. At any rate, please like and comment. Also subscribe. It helps me out a lot and keeps you up to date with my videos in the future. That said, this is Leon Moki signing out. Later. What's up, guys? Leon Moki here, and I'm back with another part of What If Izuku Was a Villain. This is part 25. So, that said, let's get into it. After catching up with the villains and almost crushing Compress's spine, the others were preparing for a battle, as Izuku basically pushes both Shoji, Shoto off Compress and tells him wait, and tells Dabi to wait, don't attack. I had to explain things to them. Soon after, Dabi puts his arm down and deactivates his flames, as he asks Izuku, "What are you planning, boss? What are you trying to do?" Soon after, Izuku asks Compress to let Tokoyami go as well. Compress complies and allows this to happen. And lets go of Tokoyami. Soon after, Tokoyami is gone back to normal. After that, both Shoto, Shoji, and even Tokoyami are confused on what's going on, as Izuku begins telling them everything. That he tells them that he is a member of the League of Villains, that he's been a member since the beginning of the year of UA. Actually, before he even joined UA, and about everything that's going on since then. The three of them were surprised and shocked, even a bit terrified that they've been schoolmates with a villain all this time. However, Izuku tells them that he isn't here to hurt them, that their plan here is just to capture Bakugo and then leave. We're not trying to kill anyone. I made that a specific order not to happen. Soon after, Shoji wonders, how can we know we can trust you? Because you can't. And not only that, am I the kind of person to lie about my intentions? Just because I kept a secret of me being a villain doesn't mean I lied to you guys on how I feel. Shoji begins to remember all the times that how Izuku has felt towards everything else, their questions, and to them. He even seeing on how much Izuku works hard to protect everybody and everyone, and realize that he is telling the truth. Tokoyami also asks him, why would you let me go? You could have kept me and taken me back with you as well. As Izuku tells him, I want the three of you to join me. Join the League of Villains and fight alongside me to bring a better and peaceful world, a better society of heroes. All three of them are surprised to hear this coming from Izuku, saying that if I can trust anyone in Class 1A, it's you guys. I'm begging you to join me. Join us. Tokoyami wonders, why would you want us to join you? Why would we want to join you? As Izuku tells Tokoyami everything on how he feels, it also brings up Tokoyami's past, how he was treated, how people say he would become a villain and everything. You would think saying these words would resolve Tokoyami even more to stay a hero. But even if he became a hero, what if happens to the future? What happens in the future? What if there are other kids who go through the same treatment over and over again, who are called villains, all because of their quirk? One hero can't change everything unless you change society from within. And some heroes can't. Tokoyami realizes what Izuku is saying, that he's not thinking just about Tokoyami. He's thinking about people in the future, kids in the future. And maybe even going against the law is the perfect chance to change society as well. So, Tokoyami agrees of joining. Same thing for Shoto. Immediately, Shoto joins the League of Villains alongside Izuku. The reason being, he trusts Izuku. He thinks of him as his first and true best friend. Not only that, the current hero society that he's fighting for, that he's fighting to protect, is the same hero society that forced all of his siblings to be born, forced his mother to suffer, and that he lost the chance to even have a normal childhood at all. Shoto wants to change that. And not only that, to prove his father wrong, that his very masterpiece wasn't made for him, that he can choose what path he wants on his own, no matter what it takes, no matter what happens. That's Shoto. Hearing these words, Izuku's happy to hear that Shoto is joining them, especially on his own free will, without even Izuku convincing him or trying to convince him to join. Shoji, on the other hand, is a little bit on the fence. He's not the kind of person to just give up on his dream, his ideas, and what he believes in so easily. Izuku knows this, and that's exactly why he wants Shoji to join him. He's the kind of person that Izuku needs to join the League of Villains, to realize his conviction, his dream, the very reason on why he chose to be a hero, chose to be a villain, to change hero society, to change it for the better. That even people without quirks can even become heroes through dedication, hard work, training, and belief. Current hero society, people without quirks are looked down upon or are treated like nothing. And yet still, with those with quirks are also looked down upon, depending on what kind of quirk ability they do have. If anything, Izuku wants to change that for the better, no matter what. Shoji hears Izuku's dream and realizes on why he wants him to join him, to keep him in line, to keep him from turning into something truly beyond evil. He may be considered evil, but he isn't truly evil. So, Shoji also agrees and joins Izuku's League of Villains. Hearing this, Izuku is in relief, happy, and decides to let down his blackout power that he made around them, but only for an instant. He still believes that there are people looking towards them. Soon after, he also begins hearing Tsuyu and Ochiko running towards them as fast as they can. However, soon after, he messages Kurogiri to make the warp gates to their location. And both Toga, Twice, Compress, all began going through the gate. Even Tokoyami, Shoji, and Shoto also go through the gates as fast as they can as well. Soon after, Izuku stops Dabi in his tracks, and tells him, Dabi, I need you to act for a little bit. It's a small favor. Can you do this for me, man? Dabi agrees, anything. What you need. Soon after, Izuku lets down all of Blackout, and then both Ochiko and Tsuyu see what's happening as Dabi has his hand wrapped around Izuku's throat as Izuku is trying to struggle as much as he can, but he can't. But acting like he can't. This is to make it seem like Izuku was being taken against his will. He's still acting, even though he still chose to be the leader of the Vanguard Action Squad. He still wants to keep this up for his master plan to fully be commenced. Soon after, Ochiko tries to run as fast as she can to Izuku, trying to save him. As Izuku yells at her, Ochako, please, stay back. I don't want you to get any closer. Hearing this, she stops for a little bit, but then tries to resist. Soon after, Tsuyu throws out her tongue to grab Izuku's arm. However, Izuku stops her tongue getting even further, and creates a blackout wall across them. Surprised on seeing this, and asked them why, and began asking themselves why would he do such a thing. Izuku, knowing this, decided doing this because Dabi was about to burn Tsuyu. He didn't want that to happen, not one bit. Izuku's still kind, even though he's been manipulating him and is betraying his classmates. He still thinks of them as his classmates, as his friends. And soon, they arrive at the bar. There, they are greeted, or they also see Magnum and Spinner as well. However, they don't see Mustard, and Moonfish as well. Soon after, they wonder Izuku asks him where is Mustard at, as Kirigiri told him that he was captured by those students, and I couldn't be able to help him out. Same also goes as for Muscular. He's completely gone. And Moonfish, well, he was completely incapacitated, and I doubt his quirk is going to come, and I doubt he's going to be able to use his quirk for a while now. As Izuku hears this, he's more sad about Mustard than he is about Muscular or Moonfish, since he didn't want any of them to be part of his team at all from the very beginning. And decides, as soon after, Shigaraki begins asking Izuku, so, what's these kids doing here? I thought I only specifically to bring Bakugo. As Izuku said, they joined of their own free will. They are now members of the League of Villains. Please, Master, allow them to stay. As Shigaraki begins, if they want to join, so be it. It's their choice. If anything, the more members, the more greater our organization will be taken seriously of. And as Izuku bows his head and says, "Thank you, Master." Soon, he also was wondering asked Kurogiri if Koda's safe. As he says, yes, he is. I made sure that he is. I made sure that he's taken care of. And he wasn't harmed in any way. As Izuku also feels relieved as well, saying he didn't want the kid to get hurt at all. There, Izuku now realizes what he truly must do now. Soon after, he tells them about staying in a room in the back. There, Compress will basically turn Bakugo back to normal from being a marvel. And also, all four of them, the four of them will tell them that they were also captured by the League of Villains as well. In saying this, they all agree to this plan and prepare for the next mission as well. And that's it. Thank you guys for watching this. I really appreciate it. If you want to see more of this, please leave a comment below and like, and also subscribe if you want to catch up to my other videos too. That said, this is Leon Mookie, signing out. Later.